Hey guys, I'm Joy,
I'm Amelia.
and welcome back to Girl Scouts Unfiltered from GCNWI for our mental health episode, part two. And I think we're going to start off talking about where we ended off last time about comparing yourself and your workload and everything about you to the people around you. Because I know I do it all the time and
Yeah.
it's not healthy.
No, me too. I feel like that's such a hard part of high school because
Absolutely.
you want to be in an environment where you're supportive and you're supported and you don't feel like you're competing against the people around you, but unfortunately I feel like that's just the reality, especially as college admissions get tougher
Oh,
and
yeah.
just getting on leadership positions for different clubs and stuff. And I feel like this is a definitely very personal topic for me because I go to a very large public high school, and so we have many students, and it's hard not to be competitive and have that culture in a high school that's as large as that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how big your high school is, but mine is 2,500, something like
Ours
that.
is about double.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
whoa, okay.
it's a lot.
So, but a lot. So you don't know everybody, but you hear of people and you're like, ooh, I want to be like them. I want to almost compete for their spot.
Yeah.
Because like you said about college, there and this goes back a little bit to what we talked about last time about pressure. Is there's a pressure to get into good schools, get good grades, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And it's oh my god, you don't even realize you're doing it
Yeah.
half the time. And it's not only in school but social situations. You want to be liked, you know?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
there was this one statistic from Rolling Our Experiences that says 66% of girls from 5th through 12th grade don't say what they're thinking because they want to be liked.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 2/3.
Yeah. It's
That's really crazy.
and it's just because we want to be liked,
Yeah.
you want to be accepted so you don't stick out.
Right. No, I think that's a really good point. I feel like we compare ourselves a lot academically, but also in social situations, like you said, oh, I should be wearing this, or I should why do I not look like her?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's definitely exacerbated by being girls in this day and age. And I know we're we have some different people talking about that in our upcoming episodes, but it's definitely really hard when you're just around people. I feel like part of it is creating good friend groups to make sure you're not in that toxic environment, but also it's really hard not to compare yourself. I'm always on social media being oh wow, this person went to Washington D.C. to do some crazy internship with a senator or something, and I'm here enjoying my time in the summer just hanging out with my family. Should I be doing that?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really hard because you're making those personal choices and personal sacrifices, but like you're always trying to give something up, and it's hard not to compare yourself to others.
100%. I'm always I see girls around me and I'm like, oh my god, she's so pretty. I love her style, I love her makeup, I love everything about her, and I'm like, do I want to change myself to be like that? And it's half the time I'm I don't realize until I've already thought it, oh my god, I'm comparing myself. I'm not appreciating myself as I am.
Yeah.
And you were saying, you see people going to all these cool places and doing all these cool things, and you think, why can't I be like that?
Right. And I feel like it's definitely hard because you almost do it unconsciously now, and I feel like
100%.
that's just a part of the culture, especially in our generation, growing up. It's just so hard. We've just been almost taught to do that just because of academics, but like you said, the social aspect too is just, it's so hard not to compare yourself with someone who maybe you think is better, but you never know what they're giving up to do those things, maybe they wake up at 5 a.m. and work out all the time to look like that. I personally, I prioritize sleep over that. And so it's just, it's, you never really see the stories behind people. And so I feel like it's a really hard thing to like think about too.
Yeah, it's dangerous to think like that in some ways, just because it's like you don't, like you said, you don't know what they're going through, you don't know what they're experiencing, you don't know anything about them, so just making blind judgments is like not only damaging to like you, but also in some ways to them, because like you don't know their story and you're just assuming things.
I know, like, personally, I've sometimes gone on like LinkedIn deep dives, and like it's so, like you said, it's literally dangerous.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, oh, like this person, like I'll click on a random person at my school and I'll like look at their LinkedIn and like see all the things that they've done, and then like I'll be like, oh, like this is another person, and then you just like kind of go down into that rabbit hole, and it's like I really shouldn't be doing that. Like I waste 2 hours of like just looking at like these random like online profiles of people that I don't really know, and then I'm like, what is that giving to me? You know, like I think it's really important to like just be satisfied like with what you have. And I feel like, you know, it's important to take time to like appreciate the little things in life. I know we've been like kind of negative and like kind of depressing and like this episode and like the last episode too. But yeah, I feel like there are a lot of things that like little changes that we can make in our lifestyles to just be healthier.
Totally. Like one thing that I've been like thinking about a lot is self-care. Like I don't do it nearly enough. Like we talked about this a little in the last episode too, but I'm always like go go go, like do the next thing, like work harder, get better grades, like do more leadership stuff, all of that kind of thing. But like you need to leave time for yourself in that, because like we talked about briefly last time too, burnout. Like I've come close before, I'll be honest, but like if you take like those moments to do something you like read, or like take like a spa day, you know, whatever your thing is.
Yeah. No, I feel like that's a really good point. Like I've definitely experienced burnout, and like especially because I went through the college app process like earlier, like last semester, and it was hard.
I bet.
Like I was always just exhausted, and it was like I had to do my schoolwork, I had to do my extracurriculars, and I'd have to come home and write like work on like 10 different versions of the same essay, and I'm like, how do I do this? So I feel like timing is definitely like an issue because it just doesn't feel like we have enough time in the day.
Yeah.
But I feel like something that I've really been working on this semester is like just changing my schedule. And so I actually found a really interesting study from Stanford Med.
Whoa.
I know. It was like, I just ran across it and it was really cool. And so basically they conducted a study of nearly 75,000 adults.
Whoa.
And then found that night owls, being true to their chronotype, so like people who are night people,
like,
if they stuck to that schedule, were 20% to 40% more likely to have been diagnosed with a mental health disorder, including anxiety and depression, compared with early wakers. And so if you combine this with like the activation of metabolic and physiological activity from like exercise, which actually stimulates like growth hormones and like growth factors, I feel like if you wake up early in the morning, start your day off with a workout, which I've actually been doing for the past few days. And it's been like really nice. I feel like I'm getting a lot of energy. I'm not down anymore. And like it forces me to do my homework early and like get all of like the 8 hours of sleep, or at least try to as much as I can. Obviously like barring any accentuating circumstances. And like it really gives me a good start to my day. So I feel like if you just wake up early and like try to change your schedule a little bit, it can make a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, not only that study, but also like experiencing it. Like I know I do so much better when I'm active in a day. Like if I don't work out that much, but like it barely ever, to be honest. But like when I am like somewhat active in my day, like even if I just like take a walk with my dog, like it makes me feel so much better. Like go out, just even to like stand outside for a little bit, like taking those little things, like even if it's just a 5-minute walk, it just makes you feel so much better.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I feel like, so actually this is kind of interesting. So when I over winter break, I went to Italy with my mom, and we did like a little girls trip, and it was so fun. But some of the things that I noticed there was like just the way that I felt was like so different. And like, let me explain. So basically, like we would walk everywhere. Partly like obviously in Venice, like it's either a boat or like you walk.
Yeah.
But we also like went to like towns that did have cars and like Ubers and stuff in Italy, and it was just like so cool because we walk everywhere, and it didn't take us more than like 30 minutes to get everywhere or like get anywhere. And it was like we just felt so good because we get up in the morning and like walk to where we need to go, and like even after like a big meal or anything, like just walking it off, like I, even though I had like so much cheese and like like a lot of heavy like carbs there, like with the pasta and everything, like I never felt weighed down by it because we were just like walking all the time. And I feel like that's such an interesting practice that like Europe has, because obviously like their cities and towns are like closer together, so like it's easier to like walk to a bunch of different places. But like personally, like I have a grocery store right behind my house, so I found myself like walking there after we came back from Europe, and it's just like you said, it makes such a big difference just to get out for like 5 minutes and like do some exercise.
100%. Like over the summer, I had the chance to, with my school's like German class and German club, we went to like Germany, Austria, Liechtenstein, and Switzerland. It was like a quick like 10-day-ish trip. So we were doing a lot in those 10 days. And like we were, like you said, we were eating a lot of food. We were like we were like trying chocolate all over the place. But like you said, like everything is so much closer together. Like we were walking all day, and to be honest, that was one of the best times that like that was the best I felt in a while. And like just because like we were outside, we were moving, and even though we were like in a bus for a while, sometimes going from city to city, we still felt good, you know. And just like taking those moments of just being outside, and like you can splurge every once in a while, like splurging, like even if like words but like it feels good as long as you're still taking care of yourself. And sometimes that is part of self-care.
Right. And I feel like, because it's really interesting that both of like the times that we felt best were in Europe. I feel like a lot of that has to do with like the quality of their food. So another study, I promise this is the last one. So a study by like, or an article by Harvard Medical stated that like a Mediterranean diet which is influenced by like southern Italy and Greece, helps prevent like cardiovascular disease.
Wow.
Which is really great. And then, but recent studies have also found benefits of like Nordic and Atlantic diets. And so I think like a reason for that is because they really focus on like seasonal and local produce. And like, I'm sure you felt that too. Like when you're in Europe, like you're always getting the freshest food possible because like, they're growing it right there, and like it's all local. And I feel like some ways that we can do that here, even though it's harder, like to kind of do that in a place where like it's cold, especially now in the middle of winter.
Like we're in Chicago, it's cold.
But like I feel like going to farmers markets and stuff, which like I know we actually did like a Girl Scouts journey, like harvest award stuff with that, which is really cool. But we visited a ton of farmers markets, and getting that fresh produce makes such a big difference in like how your food tastes, how you feel after you eat it.
Totally. A lot of food in the US, and honestly, this might be another episode if you guys are interested. It's very processed, and it's not very natural. So just like being able to like experience that, and every once in a while, if you just like have like a salad or something, you feel that burst of energy.
Right. No, I think that's such a good point. I feel like in schools, we always just have like pizza and like super unhealthy food. And it's also like just the way that we pace life here compared to other parts of the world. It's so interesting to me because here it's always like go, 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 like we talked about before. It's just, you feel so burned out. It's like you never get a break, and there's just so much pressure on you. But like something that I noticed when I was in Europe, and I'm sure you did too, is like, and also when I go back home to like India and just like have meals with my grandparents and stuff, we always eat together. It's very community focused, and mealtime is supposed to be a place like where you can take a break from the day. I feel like now with like fast food and stuff, and like you said, Europe doesn't really have like processed food, and like it has less junk food, and so like it really makes a difference in like the quality. But like being able to eat with people, like you actually enjoy the meal, you enjoy the time together, and it's not just it gives you a time to like take the pressure off.
Absolutely. Like before COVID, like I have a relatively big family. Like I've got brothers, I've like my grandparents are nearby, but before COVID, we'd, like you said, eat a lot of fast food, like just because it was convenient.
Yes.
But during COVID, and we've kept it up since then, we've started like we have not so much at breakfast, but mostly like we always have like dinner together. Unless it's like not possible with our schedules, like we have dinner together. We sit together, we talk about our days, and it just taking that just like those like 10 minutes usually just it's nice.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. I feel like there's a lot of changes that we can definitely make in like just our lifestyle and like daily choices, and it's always a continuous journey, but I feel like there are definitely improvements that we could make like just in the general culture and like how we do things here in the schooling system to help us like be better people, feel better when we're awake, and like really just change our routines.
Yeah, mental health, especially like we're hearing about it more now. It's more in social media, it's more we're talking about it more in schools. So like it's been like being able to talk about it too. Like I feel like it used to be like as we like when we were little, and it's kind of been shifting as we've gotten older to be able to be talked about, and like to make it be understood that like appreciating these things and like understanding it's just so powerful. And I think that's a good place to leave off.
Yeah, so thank you guys for listening. We hope you enjoyed this. This was hopefully a little bit more of a positive turn on mental health. There's a lot of things that you guys can do, like changes in your schedule, and just like the way that you eat, the way that you exercise. There's a ton of different little changes that you can make to make your mental health better, but obviously larger systematic changes are needed to kind of get us to like that final push and really help, I guess, like combat the mental health crisis here, because it's getting bad.
Yeah, it's bad. And if you guys have anything that you guys do to like take care of yourself and feel good, or if you have any questions, you can like talk about them to each other like in the comments. We'd love to hear. And again, if you have any ideas for episodes or questions or anything, let us know. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.